This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Welcome back to Dice Commando. This is SwagDean. It's Destiny Friday, and we have I guess it is in order, the second video of my history, my own personal history of Jank series, going through Star Wars Destiny and some old decks that I used to enjoy that were nonsense. And this one I had named Papa's Got a Brand New Droid. So it's Old Man Luke and K2SO. Now, K2SO was single die in this thing. So K2, he was not an amazing card because his ability was frustrating and he was expensive. So the premise of this deck is, can we get value out of K2 and his cool ability at a single die value with another character that can reasonably draw aggro? Because a lot of times if you play K2 Elite, he just dies first, because why wouldn't he? And so the idea is that if we do it single die, but we do get some things on him so that you can reset him when Luke dies, because if your opponent goes after K2 first, the single die one, and you leave Luke out there, you're probably just going to win straight up. So they have to go for Luke first, and then when they do, you're going to get at least hopefully one trick with K2 where after you play a weapon or a weapon is moved to him, you get to ready him. So if Luke dies, your heirloom or something, your Dagger of Mortis, will get moved over. We also have a Quip, which we could do it to try to get it in a different round, to get K2 to stand back up again. I was also trying to get value on Way of the Force. Way of the Force is another card that was like fun to theory craft, but like terrible in application. So it's a 3 cost, but it makes a character elite. But most of the time, if you were to look at the single die of a character and look at the value of a die that costs 3, usually a 3-cost upgrade, let's just use the Dagger of Mortis as an example, there are not as many characters that are going to be 2, 2, 3 melee sides that would make it worthwhile to get. Plus it doesn't redeploy. Dagger of Mortis redeploys, and it has a bonus ability. So for almost every character, a 3-cost upgrade is giving you a second die of them is bad value. But K2's die is pretty good with the 2 and 3 that are free. A double shield. It's not bad. And if you're going to stand him up and use it twice, even more value. So this was like the one deck where I thought, hey, if Way of the Force is ever going to be useful, this would be the deck. So that was in here. So yeah, the hope. You couldn't do his blue ability move stuff. I did have some abilities, I think, in the deck. I didn't pull every dice card out. One with the Force was in. It's another way, just in case you did load up Luke pretty heavy and not all the stuff was going to redeploy. One with the Force is a way to overwrite and get value for when he dies. And it's nice if you had one with the Force and an heirloom or a Dagger of Mortis, the one would flip over to K2, he would stand up, and one with the Force would become a support, and you could roll that in, and that was a very powerful round. And hopefully you would do a massive amount of damage that round, and therefore win the game. There was one other trick in that crafted lightsaber was a very good value at 2, and if you had 4 resources, you could just straight play crafted lightsaber on K2 and then stand him up. And that happens, so like Way of the Force, if you did have Way of the Force on him, you could overwrite it to get crafted on there, so you'll lose the K2 die, but you gain the crafted, and then you stand him up and get the other K2 die and the other dice you had. So crafted lightsaber was a way to hopefully get an additional reset out of K2, either overriding or if you just had the resources, just straight up ramping to it. Because you wanted to spend a lot of resources on upgrades in this deck, I did have the looping Docking Bay Honor Guard trick for my mitigation package, and then obviously we have shields pretty heavy on Luke, and then K2 has the double. So you're shielding yourself. I did have gambles like Do or Do Not, where you can reroll and then resolve something increasing by 1. If you get damage, great. If you get resources, I could spend those. If you get shields, someone's going to get 3 shields. So this is another fun card that worked well in this because a lot of your dice were pretty strong and all base sides, at least for your characters, which was pretty solid. And then I often, Makashi training, sometimes you'd use the action on that to do some mitigation. I mean, I had a standard blue-red hero mitigation package at the time, but you wanted to spend a lot of your money on upgrades in this deck. So this is one I enjoyed because I really wanted this K2 to be great, and I think this was the best I did with him, was this deck. If somebody didn't know what they were doing, and if you got 2 resets out of K2 in a match, you probably won, or you really had a strong showing, and that happened a decent amount. Even a cheap upgrade, you play the Ancient Saber on Luke, and then the next round, you roll in K2 and do some stuff, and then you equip, move it over. There were affordable ways to get that reset trickery going, but sometimes you did get the big nuts to roll and get your redeploys out, make a giant K2, and this was a lot of health. Even still, with the 3 die start, 24 health is a decent amount to chew through, especially with Luke and K2 hitting shields and whatnot. It was a decent time. And then if you were able to get your battlefield, you didn't win the battlefield roll off as often, but because you have 3 dies, but you have decent 2s and 3s, you definitely could get it. If you got the loop Honor Guard, this was a pretty chunky bit of health to eat through, and you could rain some melee sides down. So, thanks again for joining me for our next SwagDean's History of Jank series. I have more. With stupider names, maybe, to share with you all. So, hope to catch you on a future Destiny Friday. And as always, go Commando.